Okay, so ignore the casual room in the back, or just watch it if you're on YouTube and just want something to watch while you listen. Uh, but yes, this is post Raz versus Jenga interview, which I am recording because Leontes doesn't have a convenient way to do it.
Yeah, other than just going back on stream and then having nobody see it and then just make a video and upload to YouTube, this is probably much better.
Yeah.
Because your face is actually on that too. So.
Yes.
And this is gonna be completely impromptu. Game 1, you probably knew what was gonna happen. You were gonna run into a truck. There's just no way you weren't.
Yeah, that's.
You've been training BBB for a long time, specifically for that matchup, for the Rook matchup, which is actually a little bit rough for Zane sometimes as well. So BBB just kind of the best thing to cover all the things that you hate seeing, and you feel so confident playing Zane against everybody else, including like Grave.
Yeah.
Where you quote unquote counterpicked yourself later in the set, if people want to call Grave Zane advantaged for Grave. But yeah, so like how long have you been playing the BBB? Like, because you used to just kind of mono Zane and win against Trock. Anyway.
Yeah.
So talk about that a little bit.
So the way that I used to approach it was like I basically just played mono Zane. As you said. And it was just kind of like, okay, I'm just going to do my absolute best with this character and just see how far I can get. And then eventually there were times where it was like, okay, I've run into a Trock that actually knows what they're doing, and holy shit, this is really hard.
Yes. Knowing to do things like 4-poke in neutral, which is a super real button for Trock.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
There was a super key combat where I undercut a 4 with a 2, and I was just like, yeah!
Yep, that's the layer 3 there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, there were a couple times where I had that eliminate me from an event, the most notable in my memory being when Deluxe knocked me out of the Steam pre-release tournament.
I remember this. I was there.
Yeah. So I had experimented with various solutions to deal with Trock. One of the ones that I did try was Geiger.
Yes, and with Geiger, you actually played in the International Yomi League 1. You played the Yomi Bowl going up against Merciful Fate, who you knew was going to play Trock because you're so known for the Zane that you just knew. Yeah. You just knew that Trock was coming. You let Geiger. You ended up taking that set 4-0. Just played really, really well that day.
I just kind of blew him out. If memory serves, he went into the Geiger Ditto, I think. Or that might have been a different time. He either went into the Geiger Ditto or went to DeGray after. I can't remember which it was.
Yeah, he went to DeGray, I think. Yeah.
But yeah, I did experiment with Geiger, and what I found with playing the Geiger matchup versus Trock is that I disliked how draw dependent it is.
Okay.
Because if you're playing Geiger against Trock and you don't draw time spirals, that matchup's just really bad. Like bad for Geiger.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're not getting the time spirals, then you can just get run over in the early game because Geiger does not really have any threatening damage off of his normal pokes.
Right.
And then
the only way that he does is if he does funky spaghetti combos like 5-poke into Queen 6J or something.
Exactly, and that would involve you having time spirals. So.
Right.
So yeah, I've. As a related note on that, I've seen that matchup fail too many times as a counterpick. Even in just recent memory, I watched Riker. Well, I didn't watch it, but I saw the results. Being that Riker lost that to Bob, I think, into Panda. Like I just feel like it's a less consistent counterpick than people give it credit for.
Okay. Kind of like the Jaina beats Trock shenanigans that we see sometimes.
No, well, that one's just incorrect, especially because Jaina's a bad character. So.
Alright.
But yeah, I found Geiger was significantly less consistent, and not only that, I was less comfortable playing him.
Okay.
Like, I felt like I was just kind of trying to play him for the matchup. And it also led to me getting into situations where my Geiger was not as strong in other matchups. And I feel like he gets counterpicked a little bit more severely than BBB.
Okay. Like BBB just kind of being behind the curve a little bit baseline, but he doesn't have like these ridiculously terrible things like Persephone Geiger and Manelker Geiger.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's kind of why I started experimenting, looking for other alternatives, and I did try some other less. Oh, somebody's looking at my win stats in the matchup chart.
That'd be me.
Ah, okay. I did try other characters. Like I experimented with working with Grave in friendlies. And I also messed around with both Onimaru and Lum as possible alternatives.
Yeah, and Lum is considered like maybe Trock's like best counter pick, right?
Yeah, and what I found with those two was that they are just as susceptible to hard counter picks afterwards, and I was even less comfortable playing them because I don't grasp Lum's throw game properly. I just want to play attack block when I play that character.
Right.
So those were different varieties that I entertained, and eventually I settled on BBB, and it's like, okay, BBB is generally considered a pretty bad character, but what BBB does have that I find syncs incredibly well with me is his ability to just absolutely mind crush somebody at range.
Yeah, you like your advantage time.
Yes, and I think I'm probably one of the best players of like playing at range, like being able to guess what option someone's going to play.
Mm-hmm.
Which is tooting my own horn a little bit on the reads front, but I will.
Well, you'll watch the cast and you'll see what we say about that too, because I am like the biggest fan of you play King every time you get to range, like immediately.
Yeah.
Like you have to do that to show that you're willing to do that. Against a grappler like Trock, he has to do something really silly, like just test a raw like 4-poke or something.
Yeah.
And it's one of the only buttons he has that actually deals with the King in a way that is not really high investment. And especially because BBB is so prone to just dodge at range and then just put you in the mix-up anyway, you don't want to spend queens at range as much. Like you want to just get out cheap. You want to get out cheap.
Yeah. Especially since I was willing to play the King like 3 or 4 times in a row.
Yeah, like, totally.
I would King him and then King his knockdown because like Trock just wants to block. He's okay with blocking a junk shot or two, getting some cards, and then getting out with growth stacks. And I was just like, no, yeah. I'm going to King you a couple times here.
Right. And the thing too is that you have kind of a weird negative option select where if you play the King and Trock hits you with the Queen or something, okay, he had to spend something. That same something would have lost
to the Q
would have
anyway.
beat your junk shot anyways.
Exactly.
If he plays like the 4 attack and hits the King, like it's still like it kind of shows a little bit of bravery on his part, and you might shift your range later on.
Yeah, that's kind of how I treat it. Is until they're willing to start playing things that lose to junk shot.
Lose to junk shot. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then if that's the case that they're willing to poke with those high normals, then I start slipping junk shot in.
But that's when they're going to spend their high investment stuff like Eagle Totem just to escape.
Exactly, and King of course carries the benefit of catching Trock's dodges as well.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's my favorite thing. Like my percentage of junk shot maybe goes up when they're knocked down, but like you said, it's good just to either go for mix-up normal, but against Trock you don't have that much of an option. With the J covers both junk shot, King, and mix-up normal, which is what makes Trock maybe the best grappler to handle BBB.
Yeah, that's why I don't usually go for the mix-up normal at range, because I'd rather just trade junk shot with J, if that's the case, and Q's going to beat both anyway.
Yeah, and it'll hit much harder than the trade, so.
Yeah, and if the mix-up normal gets blocked and doesn't work, then that's significantly worse than just having a junk shot block. One of the things I specifically wanted to point out about those ranged interactions is there was a moment in the second BBB Trock game where I played an overdrive while he was knocked down.
Oh yeah, and you dodged into a king for 11.
Yeah, well, more specifically, I dodged a gold burst.
Yeah.
On my side of the recording, like, as soon as I played that overdrive, I was like, this setup is designed to catch gold burst. And then just dodged immediately, and there it was.
Right, because his best thing to escape the king queen unstoppable J mix-up is just to play the thing that's super safe. Like, people do this against when they don't want to die to the gray.
Yeah.
When he plays rhetoric, and you know he's going to play that 7, you play the gold burst maybe just because you don't want to get hit by something.
Yeah.
But in the same situation, the greatest dodges you, and then you hate your life.
Yeah, and on the very next turn, I was like, okay, now I've played 5 dodges, so we're just gonna play the 6th, and then caught the 2nd gold burst, and that
that was really, really good.
That was maximal payout on that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, the big reason that I like BBB in that matchup is because, like, I can basically spend time avoiding playing the player. Like, if I can get to range and just set play them, then it's like, I don't have to, like, stress out about the fact that it's Troc. It's just like, okay, I'm in my safety bubble where I'm at range, and even if I'm wrong, then I don't take damage.
Yeah, and it also keeps you safe from your favorite card in the entire game, Lockhorn Skewer.
Yes. I did have a number of times where my hand was just dead to King Throw. Like, both openings of those games, I just could not beat King Throw.
Like 2 poke, 3 poke, 5.
Yeah, my opening hand in the second game was like 2, 3, 3, 5, 8, 10 gold burst or something.
Right.
And I was just like, well, I literally can't beat King if he plays it unless I gold burst, and gold bursting here would be suicidal. So I guess I just try to block and catch something else, and I just get immediately King. Just like, damn.
And one of the things I was talking about on the stream, because I play a lot of grappler versus BBB.
Yeah.
Is the notion that one of the only times you're ever going to get throws off as a grappler against BBB is maybe in the first 3 turns.
Yep.
Reason being, there's so much stuff that you have that you can draw that will just prevent you from going to range that also isn't very good for getting you out of range.
Yeah.
So it's stuff that you need to get on the board to deal X amount of damage to BBB, get kind of a life lead going before you inevitably enter range so that when you come out, you're not too terrible.
Yeah.
So it's very, very strong for BBB to start with like a really good like blocking, early game range so that you can bait out some of those up hawks, some of those bull rushes.
Exactly.
And that's after that you start to get comfortable, and maybe then you can play your King Throw if you suspect a dodge. You can play, just 6 poke and just be cool with that. And so this is like where the turn 1 throw from the grappler becomes like a super real thing, and then we get back to the earliest BBB meta of all time, which is just poke on turn 1.
Yes.
It's funny how as time goes on, the layer 1 has shifted from the play to the counterplay. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, I don't think I actually got normal thrown by him at any point when I was playing BBB. I'm pretty sure it's only kings that hit me.
Right.
Because he did attempt a couple of normal throws, but I believe I poked them out every time.
Grave grabbed you, though.
Yes. Grave scooped the shit out of me because I gave his jack too much respect when he just didn't have it.
That's it. That's exactly it, yeah. Yeah. Because the J is the most oppressive card in that matchup. That's it's a similar thing. It's like, you know he wants to play the J. Fortunately for Grave, he doesn't lose it if he's right. Yeah. Unless he runs it into your 2 poke or something. But you have to block early. That's
if
what
I
you gotta do against a guy like that.
If I had options that would beat the J poke, I would have been playing them. Like if I had a cog shot or a single ace or something. But like my hand was just not great, so I was like, well, I guess I just respect the J and see what happens. And
maybe try to use that conditioning for later. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm kind of surprised I almost managed to pull that one out just by becoming ace bot late in the game. But
ace bot's a good bot.
Ace bot is a good bot. I think that's how you have to play that matchup because Grave just craps on him in neutral.
I liked your math where you powered up the 3rd ace so that you put him at exactly 42 and be 2 Piston Hurricanes away from winning.
Yes, that was deliberate.
Because why did he do the 3rd ace? It's like, well, there's got to be a reason. It's like, oh, he's at 42. Okay.
Yeah, that was very convenient life totals for me. I at the end when he was dodging,
I wanted you to throw so bad.
I wanted to throw so bad, but on the first turn he dodged, I didn't have a throw. On the second turn he dodged, the only throw I had was overdrive, and I wasn't willing to risk it. And then the third time I just didn't pull the trigger. I was like, I think he'll dodge again. And then he finally threw me, and I was like, shit!
Because the one thing that I was pointing out too is that, does anybody remember that BBB has 0.4 speed throws? Because I don't think people do. Like,
yeah,
it's so never a button for him. Because when he's in neutral, he's trying to poke you to get to range, and when he's at range, he's not playing throws. So like they get kind of overlooked a little bit. And against in the Grave fight, it tends to be one of the only dominant things you can do to Grave is play like your 7th throw.
I would have been using 7 throws. When you powered up all
queens. You powered up like all your queens, and I was like, this is his lethal right here. Like if you had the throw, you can throw into queen pump for like 22, right? That's the damage. I'm like, this just come on, just like why did you dump the queens? Because it was like one of your only ways out.
I just didn't have the throws. Like that 7 throw.
Now you're telling me that, yeah.
That 7 throw that I dodged into as a robo headbutt was the only 7 throw that I saw. And it was also, like, I think I saw, like, 5 throws in the top half of my deck or something.
And unfortunately, some of them are tied to dodges, right?
I was going to say throws that weren't 10s, specifically. Not like you're throwing with those anyway, but... it was a bit difficult, but...
Yeah, well, that's what it means to be in a disadvantaged matchup, though.
Yeah. But spinning things all the way back around from BBB, I'm sure you have other topics you wanted to ask about.
Sure. Well, one thing I like to point out is that your historical record right now, and today's set isn't an indicator of this, you lost to Trock once and beat Trock twice. So now your overall record against Trock is a literal 15-15. You are 5.0 against Trock in the Zane v Trock match.
Yep.
Do you need a counter pick?
Yes.
Or is it just it's why wouldn't you play BBB if you're given the option to switch? You might as well do it.
It's a little bit of both. Yes, I think there's basically no reason for me to stay in the disadvantaged matchup, which is why I went to BBB. And I would have gone to BBB in the final game had I managed to lose.
Of course you would.
6, but we'll talk about that.
Game 5 was the most important thing. We were talking about that.
But yeah, the reason that my win rate is that good is I do not stay in that matchup for the whole set.
Okay.
Because where I get my mileage in that matchup and make my money, is that people are not adjusted to the fact that I will just pay whatever, or I will just play whatever is the highest payoff, and just kick you in the fucking teeth.
Yeah, you 9-poke and neutral all day. It's a good card.
So that means I can usually thief the first game of the counter pick just by hitting somebody for 34, which is basically exactly what I did to Jenga. Like I demolished
the 6-poke turn 1.
I demolished like 2/3 of his life bar in the first 4 combats or something. And like that's how I got so much mileage out of that. And then in the game after that, when he had started adjusting and was playing a more defensive range that requires me to take the risks that don't have as much payoff, like throwing him, that's when it gets difficult and is when like I start to lose, because I get my mileage out of people not being ready for what I'm going to do because I just act like a crazy person.
It's like if you're going to lose combat to Jay anyway, you might as well really lose to Jay, but then really beat throws.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So once they realize that I'm a crazy person and start playing around it properly, that strategy becomes significantly less effective, which is why I try and stay in it for as little time as possible.
Right. So then there you go. You win 1 and then you lose 1 and then you get off Zane. So now you're 15-15.
Exactly. That's basically how that happens. There are very, very, very few recorded cases of me staying in Zane for more than 2 games straight, and it's usually only if I just win and can't switch.
Right. And then also, what also may be a factor in this is if you consider the fight to be much worse for Zane. Like you seem to win it a lot when people are watching you. You tend to win the fight a great deal. But there is also the idea that because the fight is really hard for Zane, your number is 5.0 right now. That doesn't mean you're not playing the best you could possibly play. and also, in order to accomplish that in the first place. But it also kind of means that even people who don't even play Troc can steal wins off of you in the character, right?
Yes.
Like that's...
Well,
so, yeah.
That's something I want to bring up, actually, is if you look at my win rate, like, across all matchups, I have, like, 3 or 4 matchups that I am below 5.0 in as Zane.
Vendetta?
Like, 5.0 or below. Yes, Vendetta is below because I do not play Zane in that matchup, because if you scroll up to Valerie's column, I am 8-1 in that matchup.
Yeah.
So that one I just don't play, which means it's usually either a win and then a loss, and then I switch, which keeps me even, or a loss and then I switch. So that's why that looks that way.
Mm-hmm.
The other ones
and then,
are...
Sets, which is the character you hate the most, the Setsuki over
yes,
Troc, I think.
And that's something I wanted to point out specifically, because every other matchup that, like, people say is even, my win rate's like 60 or 65 in.
Okay.
So when I say Sets is disadvantaged and you look at my win rate and go, but you're even, then I go, but I'm also even versus Troc. So...
Yeah, and that's... People say the same thing to me, like, I just can't win Geiger, but... oh yeah, but Midori loses to all these characters. I'm like, okay, look at my matchup chart.
Yeah.
I still have like a 60% win rate with the character.
Yeah,
so
it's like,
I understand you heavily in that.
Yes,
yeah.
It's like, okay, that matchup is disadvantaged because if that matchup was even, my win rate would be better.
Yeah.
Like, because that's basically my logic for it.
Right.
Because you got to compare it to my overall win rate rather than just looking at the flat number.
Indeed. Oh wait, we got another one. Quince.
Yes.
So that's yeah.
That one was a recently defeated mental block where I just really hated playing that matchup because Unblockables frustrated me a shitload.
Yeah.
There's also a couple sets missing from that. Like Summer Smash 1 was not included.
But in that one though, you went 0-4 in the first set against Mad King.
I did, but then I won the second one, so that would have me positive anyway. And one of those games was with the Gray in the 0-4.
That's right.
So yeah.
You just Geiger against Quince now if you run into it.
No, actually, I just Zane now. Like I just
play Zane and you just feel good.
Yeah, I just got over the mental block.
I think Zane wins that fight. I think all that happens is you play a poke when you're in Patriot Mirror and you're knocked down, and he has to dodge you and then spend a lot of things to just do 10 and then put you back down. Whereas your unblockable mix-ups lead to like 30 plus damage and they refuel themselves with card draw. So I don't see it really being that bad for you, especially if you hang on to your jokers and don't try to gold burst to get anarchy because you don't need it.
Exactly.
And you just, okay, I'm knocked down. I'm gonna play A3 poke. You're gonna 5 dodge, and you dodge, play the mirror, and I gold burst, and I'm still alive.
Yeah.
And everything's okay.
And that's basically how I treated the matchup. Was I just stopped. Like, I stopped letting myself get read by Mad King and, like, getting queued in neutral, and was just like, okay, we're just gonna play this the way the matchup is supposed to be played.
Yeah. Then your final struggle, matchup chart-wise, is going to be against Onimaru, who you claim is his worst fight by a long shot, and you have a 3.8, so considering the Raziat corollary of every single Zane matchup, you can add 0.5 to 1.0 on the Zane side. This makes it a 2-8 matchup. If we assume that metric is good. Of
course, the sample size is woefully small, but yes, I think that matchup is basically impossible because all of the things that allow you to fraud out a win against the likes of Troc simply do not work.
Right.
Like you're not going to hit Onimaru with like 9Q9J just because he tried to throw. Like it doesn't happen.
Right.
He has to fuck up real bad. He has even more answers, both in neutral and on knockdown, and Anarchy does not work.
Yeah, the key to Onimaru's whole game plan is that he doesn't really get beat by things that are attack starters.
Yeah.
Unless you happen to be Valerie and you sneak like a king through one of his blocks. It's like one of the few ways that actually happens. But his game plan is he can literally play a 100% I don't get hit by anarchy range and still be really safe.
Yeah.
And the only way for you to navigate it is to try and dodge like a final authority jack or something and hope that he doesn't have a joker hanging out, which he might.
And Zane can't sustain that sort of offense because unlike other matchups where you can like sneak in time to block, that doesn't work against Oni. You just get guard crushed.
You either get guard crushed because your highest block is an 8, or he can just 7 throw you.
Yeah,
that's a good button.
Like there's like basically 2 cards that you are allowed to block as Zane, excluding face cards.
The 5.
You get to block face cards, 5, and Clockwork Soldiers, and that's it.
Yep.
Every other time you're just going to lose combat. Block is not a win for Zane, because that's just more terrifying things Oni gets in his hand.
Yep.
So you have to play this horrible attrition battle where you're just trying to dodge him to death and just nickel and dime him.
Yeah.
And like you basically only get to win if you counter poke one of his throws with like a 2 or something.
Right. And then by the time you actually get a swing in, you're gonna get blue bursted. So
exactly.
I know that feeling.
That matchup is cheeks.
Hey man, somebody has to play Anarchy in check, and if it's gonna be anybody, it's gonna be Onimaru. Right?
Yeah, I suppose it is fitting that authority is what keeps Anarchy in check.
Yeah, totally right. And so this is your explanation for why you're gonna play BBB now. Is because, like, do you consider BBB strong against Onimaru, or is
no, BBB is not at all for Onimaru. I think that matchup's also pretty bad. I go to Gray against Onimaru.
Okay, because when we were about to play our set into Panda League, I don't have a good enough Oni. You say I could probably fraud it, but I didn't have a good enough Onimaru to counterpick you, which is why I went with my Midori truck setup, which didn't work very well.
Yeah.
But I considered, I practiced a lot of Onimaru Zane that week, and I was like, I don't feel comfortable enough to beat your Zane in particular.
Yeah, I would have 100% gone to the Gray, especially because that also would be fine against your Midori.
Right, that's true.
Like, if you... I mean, I don't have that much of a sample size in there.
I would jump to Setsuki after that, and then, I mean, what do you think about Setsuki at this point then? If you don't like the fight Zane versus Sets, and you don't like BBB versus Sets, do you? Because I think that's a bad fight for BBB as well.
Yeah, that's not fun either.
So I mean, DeGray is, you can't counterpick DeGray, right? So it's just you'd run to DeGray to deal with Setsuki, or are you confident enough in Zane when like a big tournament set if you're just going to play that?
It depends a lot on the state of the set, like whether I'm up or down in the carousel.
Okay.
If I'm up in the carousel, I would probably go to Zane against Setsuki.
Okay.
If I'm down in the carousel, I would probably either stick to Gray, depending on if I thought, like, if the Oni was present to bring it back out immediately.
Okay.
Or possibly go to Grave. Because, like, I have almost no situations in which I need to use it, but I do have a decent Grave.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, he's a very strong pick against basically everybody that is Nardgar.
Yeah.
So, like, that's a doable
that's not too bad. You just gotta get damage when you throw him.
Yeah. But basically somebody has to play an absurdly specific combination of characters to actually be able to hold me down in the carousel, especially because it's so hard to actually beat my Zane in a disadvantaged matchup.
Right, and today you had to play against Troc twice at the end, and you were fine.
Well,
I mean, you might have been sweating bullets, but you won the 2 matches.
I was gonna say, I don't know if I'd say it was fine. My butthole was puckered the entire 6th game.
Oh yeah.
But
so what went through your head when you saw the bull charge when you played the J to beat the King?
I literally gasped.
For those who are just picking up this interview right now, Razik just played against Jengajam in the West Realm Semifinals for International Yomi League 3.
Are you streaming this as well?
I'm not, but this is for you.
Okay. Gotcha.
But just in case anybody sees your thing and needs to know the context for the next situation.
Well, yeah, I was just going to label it on the top of the video, like, post-Jengajam interview.
Yeah, that's cool.
But, yeah.
It's all good. But in any case, what ended up happening was we had a knocked down Troc with some 30-ish health, right? Like somewhere around there?
Yep, roughly.
And Razik is a 9 health.
9 health, 3 or 4 cards in hand.
Yeah.
No Qs.
Right, and then looking at Troc's discard pile, he only has like 1 king in there. He's got like maybe 2 queens, so the queen just kills him.
No, he had played 3 queens.
Okay, yeah. Yes, that's right, because I was
3
saying
queens,
before
3
that
jacks.
the 4th queen would have been great.
3 queens, 3 jacks, a single ace, and AA were in his discard.
A single king, yeah, and 2 aces.
Yes, which is why I was like, okay, it's fairly likely that I'm not going to just get hit by queen and lose. King is a very high percentage play from him because there's only been 1 played, and it would just kill me.
And Eagle Totem covers everything, so you just die and say whatever.
Yeah. So, like, my hand at that moment, I think, was like a 3, a jack, a king, and maybe one other card. I think it might have been a 4 or something.
Yeah, you had 2 4s. Oh, no, never mind. Ignore that.
But, yeah, I looked at it and I was like, okay, if I play the king and he plays slow jack or Q, I just die.
Yes.
If I play the jack, then that still loses to the same things, but does beat slow jack, and it also gives me, like, it allows me to use the king on the next turn. And I was just like, I hope it's gonna be the king come out here, because I need to, like, have him not having those in his hand, because my hand was otherwise dead besides the J and king.
Right.
And then when I saw the card flip over, and it was a jack, my initial reaction was,
okay, I've got 2 health.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I've got 2 health, I'm still alive. And then, like, the speed numbers came up, and I just went, oh my god!
He got greedy.
Yeah.
And the whole time when I just got done saying, you'll watch the video when I upload it later, I just got done saying stuff like, you know what, guys? Because you played a J or neutral earlier, and he undercut you with the bull rush. And it was at a really pivotal moment, too. And I was like, look, guys, I've been saying this for a long time, and people give me shit for this. Don't play bull charge, because good Zanes are going to know that they have to play Anarch Crusher in neutral just to keep you off them, because King is such a scary thing for them. And if you're going to argue to me that it does 3 more damage and it beats the same stuff, it just is irrelevant to me, because I have never seen, like, there would have been a situation where you'd be at like 2 health or something because a bull rush hit and a bull charge didn't. But it's so rare that it matters that 3 health in the Troc Zane matchup.
Yeah,
so I play like a 0% bull charge range against Zane because I just don't want to get hit by a J and give Zane exactly what he wants. I will never get greedy in that situation, and I would never do that. And you know, Jenga did the right thing earlier. You played a J in neutral, he played fast J and hits you. Then it comes down to the situation where, you know, he has to be holding, and I said this too, well, he has to be holding several 10s in his hand, because there's no 10s in the discard pile. He's got about 18 to 20 cards left in his deck. He's got a massive hand size. Zane is sitting at 4 cards in his hand. He's waiting for some reason to do this War Stomp chain that's going to checkmate the Zane player. And I'm like, where are the 10s? And don't you just play this turn to not get knocked down? And then the horrifying thing happens where he plays the Bull Charge, gets undercut by the Anarch Crusher, sits down, cannot play his 10s because War Stomp is not allowed to be played when Troc is knocked down. Then he ends up having to power them up to get Eagle Totem as a threat, and then ultimately loses the game.
Yeah, so
we had a hard time with the ending of that match, and so much respect to Jengajam because he's a phenomenal player, but we called that like the biggest spaghetti drop of modern Yomi right now.
It was definitely up there, but what I do want to defend Jenga on is, in that game state, I do not think the slow J was necessarily incorrect.
Okay.
I agree with your general theory of that Troc should play fast J basically 100% of the time because Zane will play his J. I don't dispute that. However, in that specific context, the slow J literally only lost to my J. And I think I had 2 of them in the discard already at that point.
You had only 1.
Okay, well, I had only 1 in discard at that point, but more importantly, he had already played 3 of his Js, so...
His was pretty hidden, and...
Yes, not only was his hidden, but it covered both King and Mix-Up Normal for lethal.
Right.
So I don't completely hate wanting to just close it out by betting it on that. It did turn out to be the incorrect decision in that case, but had I not had the Jack in my hand, and just had like King and a mix-up normal, I would have just died on that combat.
That's true. But you didn't know he was holding 3 10s.
This is true.
And if he doesn't have the Queen, right?
Yes.
Yet, or the Ace-Ace,
given the context
he
information,
can get Eagle Totem. He can knock you down. You have 2 health, you are dead.
Yeah. Given the context
that was,
information,
yeah.
I can agree that not using Fast J and then just playing the 10s was incorrect. I agree with that.
Yeah. He might have even drawn the 4th 10 on the 3 subsequent War Stomps and then gotten a checkmate scenario period, though.
Yeah.
So that was the other thing, too. If he didn't have all 4, he didn't really need all 4. All he needed to do was find a queen, or he'd have to power up everything for ace-ace to get Eagle Totem for the chip there. But I think I don't know what his hand was in that situation. Maybe he could have done that. But yeah, that was the thing. And understandably, you are one of the scariest players in the entire game. And if I were in a game 6 with you, after a long grueling set, like it's tough to see those things in the heat of it when you're like, I have lethal here. He's not going to play the jack. I'm okay. And the bull charge was like the way out of that fight right there, just to have it be over with.
Yeah,
so.
Flashbacks to when you were like, the only thing I can lose to is AA, and then I played AA.
Yep. When I had options to stop it, I mean, I guess I could have just blocked, but yeah, you had it.
Yep. Yeah, that game, I cannot believe I managed to win that game by getting Anarchy blocked, a Gold Burst blocked,
yep,
and then still spaghettied it together by getting the right reads.
Totally.
Oh God, that was probably the most spaghetti I've ever won a Troc game. I think, like just in terms of like how if we were describing this as a race, Zane basically like had the entire car explode and was like unicycling on a single wheel.
Yeah, and you're giving him his medal while he's in a full body cast in the emergency room with a thumbs up. You know?
Exactly.
He's got his legs are lifted and he's got an IV and like, Zane, what do you have to say about the matchup? Okay, good. We're gonna cut to that's pretty much how that one ended. And I don't think Zane would like it any other way, really.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Wacky races. He's the Dick Dastardly.
Yep. But like, I knew this set was going to be super hard because Jenga just plays this huge stable of characters that all don't really lose to Zane.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, fuck, this is going to be so hard. I'm going to have to, like, my BBB is going to have to play out of its mind. I'm going to have to hope I don't just get screwed on draws, which game 1 I got screwed on draws. Because I literally died to king, 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 ace, 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 ace. Like, that was the only damage I took in game 1.
Did you know that until CCC pointed it out?
I did not. Like,
does that make it a little bit harder? Like, were you okay until you saw that data, and then you're like, you know what, screw Troc, all right? This is lame.
Well, see, it didn't really make me that mad because I kind of just walked into the aces because I was just like, he's not gonna play them, and then he just played them, and I was like, oh fuck.
Right.
It's like he just went with the obvious play, and now I'm very close to death, and uh-oh. And he just kept powering up for it, and I was just like, he's just gonna keep doing it, isn't he?
Yeah.
But, like, I very nearly, like, I was starting to tilt towards the end of that game, and then I was just like, no, okay, we're gonna pull our pants up, give him the hashtag nice draws, and move into this next game.
Right. And I think there was a situation in Game 5 where he tried to do like the same thing against Zane, where he was just powering up and playing a lot of Eagle Totem, even though he had 2 aces or 2 attached blocks.
Yes, I was just like,
he shifted to this insane like mono dodge range against Troc just to not die to this. And this is one of the games that you pulled back.
I had the read. I was just like, he's not going to go for the Beast Unleashed. Like, I just don't think he's confident enough in it because I'm playing these huge duffs that would just beat it. So if he attempts Beast Unleashed and is incorrect, then he probably dies.
Yeah, the payoff matrix is really bad.
Yeah, so I was like, although I am at above 20 life, I think I was at like 23 or something.
23.
I was like, he's going to play the AA, because if he can get me to 3, then he can realistically chip me out with shit like Slow J.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm just going to dodge. I think, like, considering all of his options that he's going to play in neutral that beat things, and the fact that my payoff from dodge is relatively low, I'm just going to go with dodge, because it is...
Yeah, you're going to do the worst thing, because it's the worst thing.
Yeah. It's like, I'm pretty sure this is, like, it's my lowest payoff option aside from blocking, but it's also the safest course of action for him. So that was just a case of purely playing to win combat. It's like, I'm not going to get a lot from it, but I need to not die.
Exactly. And there were a few times when I was just calling it. I was like, come on, man, where's that Beast Unleashed? Because he knows you want to play Eagle Totem so bad. I was just like, come on, man. My grappler heart was just like, just throw this guy. Just do it. And the thing that I pointed out, too, is that he actually had 2 8s attached. So it's a little bit of an interesting
I didn't
thing
realize
with,
that. He would have just gotten another ace back. Ugh.
That's exactly it. Because I said to CPAT them all, it's not that Troc doesn't have advanced stuff, because he does, all the characters do. And one of them is, if you can make sure that your blocks that you have attached are the same thing, if you can get 4 aces in your hand, Beast Unleashed fetches you an ace and only costs you 2.
And then you have Eagle Totem in your hand.
And you still have Eagle Totem, and then you still have throw 8 for 16 and like a lot of good stuff. So when I saw that he had the 2 8s attached, I'm like, dude, just go for it. Just go for the Beast Unleashed, and if you have to power up to get Eagle Totem again afterwards, you're good.
Yeah,
and so you didn't see that. You said you didn't see that there were 8s.
That definitely would have destroyed me in retrospect. But hindsight's 20/20.
Yeah, totally. Well, like I said, man, it's a tough set against one of the best players. Like, you guys are both, I consider you both the top 10 players in the game easily. You may just be the best player currently. And then Jenga has just been so consistent ever since I've started playing the game as being somebody to be afraid of, no matter what character he's playing. Like,
yeah,
so,
Jenga's
these long sets, man. Like, these long sets are just so stressful for even if you're good. Like, what did I Am Nobody say, that everyone's scared?
Yes, everyone is scared. That is 100% true.
Yeah.
One of the things I did want to point out, I actually think Jenga is probably a top 5 player. Like, he is low-key top 5, though.
Right.
Because, like, for a while there, he just wasn't really on people's radar. And then he was just kind of like, oh, by the way, I got second in Summer Smash 2, which I hosted.
Which I run, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think he did really well in the film festival as well.
Yes, I think. I can't remember exactly. But
took like 3rd or something.
Yeah, not only, no, because Riker and I got 2nd and 3rd to Clan.
That's right, and Hartley was the 4th place.
Yes. But, like, he's been doing amazing into Panda as well.
Expected.
Had a really strong performance in IYL, of course. But, like, he just kind of came out of the woodwork again. But, like, previously, I think the discussion on who is the current best player had more names in the ring, but as of late, I think Clan has kind of fallen out of it slightly. I think right now it's between me and Deluxe.
Yeah.
Because Clan dropped his spaghetti numerous times in recent memory. I mean, part of that was making the willful decision to not play to win and play BBB in IYL, which led to him not making playoffs.
Right.
And his Tapanda record is surprisingly non-impressive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, he hasn't been deliberately handicapping himself by playing only BBB, but he's currently 2-5, which is the 2nd worst record in the league.
Yeah, he's not far behind me. I'm not doing too well either.
But yeah, I should qualify all of this by saying this is not at all like intending to shit on Clan. Clan has very clearly proven himself to be a super strong player. He's won FSOCL, won Feature Film Festival fight. He's won a lot of stuff, but just lately there's some sauce on his shirt.
I gotcha. Yeah, no, I understand that feeling all too well. It's like when you talk about like consistency, though. Yeah. This is where like Yomi is what you could consider, and some people do consider it to be a game with a lot of variance and a lot of different things can happen, and fights that you should have lost, you win, and vice versa, or at least you feel that way. But here's the thing: you are consistently in the top 4 of everything. Deluxe is consistently in the top 4 of everything.
Yeah.
Like, Jenga, the same situation. So, like...
I was about to say coincidentally, but non-coincidentally, all 4 of us are also in the 6.0 club. Or
yeah,
all 3
totally.
of us, rather.
Yep. I'm almost there, but I play bad matchups too much.
I mean,
and
shit happens.
I gotta fix that. I gotta fix that. I can't call myself a top player until I'm consistently doing well. Like I won some stuff, but and people are afraid to play me sometimes. But it's everyone's got a chance to beat me. I just did well for a certain period of time. But
yeah, you had a streak.
I had a really good streak, and then everyone is improving their game at a rate that's faster than I'm improving mine. I think that's really what's happening, is that everyone's getting really, really good. Like, the bar is getting raised. Like, if you look at the fact that we even have a Tapanda League, and there's people who could maybe be in it, and they're not in it. Like, there's a lot of... yeah.
If we're talking about people that I expect to be in the next Tapanda that aren't in this one, I have to be super biased and immediately say I expect 100% Dietz to be in the next one.
Dietz is killing it.
If Dietz is not in the next one, that's a literal tragedy, because he's been top 8 in like the last 3 major tournaments or something like that.
And he loses to people you lose to. Like,
yeah,
it's fine,
And I would also I would like to see Wampa be in the next one as well, because he has been doing very well as well. He just needs to figure out how to fight Grave, because he got himself bopped by Nemcan on that one.
Yeah. Another strong player who's not at the Panda League.
Yeah, and of course I am biased because Yoma Illuminati, but
Yeah. Where's CPAT?
Oh yeah, that's the other one that's super obvious.
There's so many. There's so many.
To be fair, when Tapanda was being made, like CPAT wasn't like, he wasn't that active yet, and now it's just kind of like he's low key just in fucking West Realm finals.
Yeah, totally.
He just kind of walked his way there and was like, "Hi, I'm actually still really good. I don't know if you forgot about me. I'm that casual guy."
Yeah, I'm that guy who like knows a lot and can leave for really long periods of time and come back and just be full play to win mode and not care what character I pick and just counterpick you like crazy and have no loyalties to anything.
Yeah, that's
just, like he said on the stream too. He's like, I might be the only face, and of course that's a big statement in and of itself. But he's like, I might be the only face in the Yomi community who just counterpicks you like a dirtbag. It's like, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe.
Do people still consider Riker face?
Riker is face. Mom Destroyer is a heel.
Yeah, but Riker counterpicks people though.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Riker's a lovable guy.
I do not doubt that. I've known that man for like 5 or 6 years now, something like that.
Yeah. He's a guy who you can't hate when he beats you with something that, when he trucks your Zane and he beats you and he's just like, Raz, like, here, bro, what are you doing? And you're like, I know. It's.
He trucked my Zane and got dummied, so.
that is true. Because you can't reliably counterpick you with a truck.
Yeah.
But anyway, to talk about CPAT though, what are you gonna do? I mean, what's your game plan going into that? Playing in the West Realm finals, you're on your way to the Yomi Bowl for the second time.
I'm not sure yet.
And you can say whatever you want because you don't have to release this until after you play him.
No, I'm still gonna put it up, and like if he watches it, whatever.
You could do the super Yomi and be like, yeah, I'm feeling really good about Manelker.
No, chances are there's like an 85% likelihood, probably higher, probably like 90, that I'm just gonna pick Zane. Because I know that CPAT is a super strong player, and he also knows a lot about how I play because he watches me so frequently. That's part of why I don't think going to my counter picks would be as effective against him. Because
it's like you just need to play your best character.
Yes, I think I just need to play my best and just not lose the counter picks. But it's gonna be tough. Like I'm worried about it, to be sure. I was stressing about.
Everyone is scared. Everybody's scared.
I was stressing about the Jenga match for like a week and a half.
Nice.
I was like, oh jeez, Should I lead BBB in the first round? What if I get like BBB Grave or BBB Sets if he decides to play option coverage or something?
What if he's crazy enough to try and mirror you and you run into BBB Zane?
Yeah, exactly.
That's a thing that could happen.
And then like, literally minutes before. While I was waiting for you to be ready with the stream, I almost switched from BBB to Zane.
Oh no.
And I called myself off it. I was like, no, he's gonna play Troc. Just be confident. Stick with your shit.
Yeah. Trust yourself. If you don't trust yourself before the game starts, you're not going to trust more important things later.
Yeah, and I was correct. It didn't end up mattering that much in the long run because we ended up...
Since you won game one.
Yeah, we ended up even 2-2 later in the set anyway, but... yeah. Speaking of that, we didn't actually discuss the Grave game, like Grave Zane.
Right.
Mainly because that one was just kind of a blur. Like,
it was you threw him, and you didn't push. He didn't do the scary thing of I have to push crazy normals and neutral to keep Zane from throwing me, and that's what makes a lot of Zane's dominance against the non-grappler type characters, and he beats the grappler guys too, but against the non-grapplers who don't outspeed him, so we're talking about like, non-Setsuki, non-Valerie, you cannot keep the guy off you because he is like a grappler in neutral.
Yeah, and
that's Zane,
As soon as I did not see a Jack or a low normal come out within like the first 2 interactions in neutral, I was immediately just like, this man's hand is ass, I'm going to run him over.
Yeah, you throw him until he gets brave enough to play the 6-poke. And you can't play 6-poke against Zane. He can just 2-poke you and hit you for 27 and put you on the ground. It's not a thing you can do.
The moment that he played his 2-poke to try to keep me off him was the turn where I was like, this is where he's going to poke, and I played my own 2 and undercut it.
Yeah, and then it's okay to lose your 2 to a J, a king, like something that's low. That's not going to hit you as hard as you're going to hit him if you're correct.
Yeah, and I also had a couple key reads where one of them was a successful cross-up while he was knocked down.
You had a mental toughness.
Yes, because I was like, I've got like 5 cards in my hand. He's probably just going to try to block out thinking he won't get hit for too much. And I just slapped the 7 on the table and crossed him up. And then that one was super key because I was like, I'm pretty sure he's just going to try to block out.
Right. That's what characters who have answers to media attacks can just do.
Yes.
And it's a thing that I think Troc doesn't do enough is just block and hope Zane backdashes because he's terrified of what Troc can do to you.
I think you are 100% correct on that.
And the same situation with Grave, you can do a lot of either block or throw on wake up against Zane sometimes. If you just have to gauge what's in Zane's hand and if he's willing to get hit by a queen or something.
Yeah.
So and then you're right. If you were in a position where it was okay to get hit by queen because you had a big life lead, and I think I said on stream that you poke 100% of the time here because you're not getting hit by true power storms. The worst that's going to happen is you're going to eat a queen. You could be wrong and give him knowing the opponent. It's very, very mild versus the payoff that you get for successfully landing the 7 attack is I think what you did.
Yeah, it was a 7. And then like 2 turns later was the other key turn. When he marshaled masteried me and saw that my hand was 4-4-7 Joker.
Oh yeah.
And like as soon as he did that, I was like, okay, the obvious play for me here is to just use one of my 2 dodges and try and kill him with a dodge.
Really? Because I had the complete opposite read on that entire situation. You'll hear it on stream. Before he played the Martial Mastery, I said, with your 4-card hand, I said, if Raz has a throw this turn, he's playing it. And then when he played Martial Mastery and I saw your hand, I'm like, oh, he's just going to play a 7 throw. I don't even there's literal 100% chance of this happening. I'm like, I want Grave to play like a 4 poke and call it out really hard. And then you did. And I was like, it's just, Grave's hand was that bad. You figured it out real early. That his hand was so bad that 7 throw is just such a dominant play, and when he doesn't have aces assembled, you don't have anything to fear.
Yeah, I felt it was more obvious in that situation for me to dodge because I would have to rely on Shen to have any meaningful payoff whatsoever.
Okay.
Because if I went for the dodge, that means my remaining hand is 7 for Joker.
Right.
4 and Joker are literally unusable in that scenario. If I play the 7, then I have nothing in my hand for the next combat. So if I pull something shit on the mills, then that combat loss was basically like irrelevant. So I guess like the play was so bad that it was obvious is how I felt about it.
I mean, you're still Zane though. You're still gonna get stuff from the deck, and then if you're wrong, you have Joker known.
Yeah.
That's gonna help you bluff out the next thing, and then you. I don't know. I felt like before the Martial Mastery, throw was the best thing you could have done.
Yeah.
Given the game state.
Yes, absolutely. What I said in the on my side of the recording, once he had looked at my hand, was, okay, if I get knocked down, I'm fucked. So I'm just throwing.
Yeah. Yeah, don't do the thing that gets you knocked down, because if Grave doesn't have any attacks that knock down, so you'll be alright.
Yeah. So I guess it is a little more obvious in retrospect, like examining the situation, but that's what it felt like to me at the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt like you were gonna throw, and then once he saw your hand, you're like, no, I'm not gonna go back on this because now it looks like it's the only button I have.
Yeah.
So that's a thing. That's kind of where you're getting at, is that, yeah, if you play the 7 throw, which is the only button that's reasonable with a hand of 4/4/7 Gold Burst, you never should. So, I see what you mean. It was the worst thing,
yeah.
Given the fact that he knew what you had.
Yeah, like, an attack beat both sides of the 7.
Right.
So, like, he can pretty safely attack into that because I have no meaningful punish if I did go for the dodge.
Right, and then if you just bluff or Joker, he just does nothing. He'll just 3-poke you, hit the 7, and then you can't put a card face down.
Yeah.
This is not gonna. Yeah, your hand is trash at that point.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I just kind of like I did the thing that Zane does to win that matchup, which is you identify that Graves' hand sucks and you throw the shit out of him.
Indeed. The exact moment I was like, here comes the throw spam, is when you started doing it. So it feels good to know that I can have a read on your situation sometimes. I wish I played characters that had answers to those things.
Yeah.
So we'll probably see some But yeah, Grave though, like, it's okay for a Grave to normal poke you in neutral, especially if he has like a 10 and a face card. Like, he has to do it. If he doesn't like ball up and do it, he's not gonna win.
No, I don't even press Crash Bomb in that matchup. Like, in neutral, it's not worth it. Like, Grave blocks too damn much, and even if he does play an attack, you're probably just gonna get hit anyway.
Oh yeah,
with the counter.
Isn't Grave blocking Crash Bomb the absolute worst Crash Bomb block in the entire game?
Bubble Shield.
Okay, yeah, that's better.
Actually, I can think of a couple more painful blocks than Grave blocking one. Stonewall.
Okay, take 15.
A Geiger in TD.
Okay, yeah.
Bubble Shield.
Yeah.
And a sufficiently sized hand Dragon Midori.
Okay.
I think all of those are worse. It's pretty bad though, because like Graves just like, okay, now you're on your ass. I've got 2 extra cards. I've got to mix up next turn where I show you an odd normal and
show you 3. Yeah.
Yeah. And if
like
I play
100%
this,
of the time, just show you 3.
If I have a 3 and a Joker,
power up everything, and now I have aces that you know about.
Yep. If I play this 3 and I have a Joker, you are literally just giving me a shitload of cards no matter what.
Yeah. If you Crash Bomb, I 3-poke into the Crash Bomb, I Mental Toughness 3, and then I confirm into True Power Storms, which I know you don't have a Joker because I played Martial Mastery as the turn started.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty horrible.
It can go life-crushingly horrible if Grave blocks a Crash Bomb.
Yeah.
but it requires a very specific set of circumstances.
Indeed.
But yeah, yeah, that game, I felt really good about that game. That game got me momentum in the set.
Yeah.
Because it brought it back to 2-2. I basically shat down his neck, and then I carried that momentum into the Troc game, and won the first Zane Troc game pretty dominatingly, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like you said, he started out with a 6 poke into, I think, 6Q7J.
Yeah.
And the normal draw is so real on that, too. Like, that's one of the really... The thing you don't see when you're not playing Zane and you're getting hit by his stuff is that the normal draw is almost like Shenanigans is, here's 3, choose 2.
Yeah.
In terms of efficiency. Like, it's not written on the card, but it is the reality of the situation.
Yeah,
that the normal poke is such a gigantic benefit for him, especially if you get a queen somewhere, because it's doing so much more damage than a throw, and it leads to the same outcome. You on the ground and like 20 plus damage.
Yeah. I had to check myself on the start of the first turn, because in my set against Clan into Panda when he went to Troc in Game 4, I out-Yomi'd myself on my turn 1 play, because when I played Clan, I said, okay, I am very well known for being a literal madman and just slamming a 9 on the table on the first turn.
Yes.
So Clan must know that, so he's going to block, so I'm going to throw him. And then I just got counter-thrown, and I was like, motherfucker!
Yeah, disrespected.
So against Jenga, I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to assume that maybe he doesn't know that I'm a literal madman, and I'm just going to put this 6 on the table.
Here's the thing, and this is my interpretation of the Troc Zane match. I lost to you twice.
Yes.
Recently. But here's my interpretation of that, is if you're playing correctly, and take that with a grain of salt considering I haven't beat you. Why play kings in neutral as Troc?
Well,
because I really feel like the best thing to do is to wait for the wake up.
Yeah.
Like it covers dodge, it covers normal, because in those situations the only thing that Zane can do is J, Q, Ace, or Anarchy, or Gold Burst. The king literally trumps everything else you could possibly do. I guess all your face cards. You must play a face card. And so when Zane must play a face card, and you've established that I save all my kings for when I'm knocked down, blocking becomes really, really high value for Troc. He gets to get up for free. You don't have to necessarily spend your queens and jacks. You can save them for neutral, where 2.2 and 0.8 are incredible speeds for dealing with Zane's whole offense. That's going to force Zane to start blocking to get Anarchy. That's when you can start throwing him. This, to me, I think, is the heart of what Troc needs to do. So in those situations, I don't see 9 pokes hitting a Troc that plays that range. I see 9 pokes running into jacks and queens and blocks. And the kings being saved for knockdown. But, I mean, you range shift like a crazy person, too. So maybe you'd catch on to that in the first 3 or 4 turns.
That's the thing. Like, if you... Trocs generally tend to fall into one of 2 camps. They either play their kings in neutral or they play their kings on knockdown. That's one of the things that I try to identify basically immediately.
Now, which one are you?
Yeah. Because if you're not playing your kings at one of those 2 times, when are you playing it?
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to try to weave one in, otherwise it has to be on, like, a War Stomp situation where Zane's worried about getting crossed up by a 5, so he plays a 3, and oops, it's Windmill Crusher. Or Lockhorn Skewer. But that means if you're going to play them, unless you're playing them as dodge follow-ups or something, which is a viable option.
If the Zane you're playing against is playing 6, 7, Queen J, and normal all the time, and neutral all the time.
But otherwise, you basically have to pick one. Like, you have to pick which time you're willing to get hit in the mouth.
Yeah.
And Zane, like, from my end, I basically just have to identify that and go, okay, when am I going to do it? And I agree with you that I think, like...
It's a better card on Wake Up. It's the best card for Troc to play on Wake Up. So what you're saying is, it's possible that in and of itself makes it an exploitable play.
Yes. trade secrets here, and obviously I'll play differently in the future. Basically every time I get the first knockdown against a Troc, I will play Q.
It's just data.
Yeah, because King covers so many options from the Troc side that you don't really have to guess. And if I put that Q on the table and the King comes up, it's free money.
And Q's getting blocked isn't a value thing to really lose that. It's not that terrible.
Yeah. Because Q's surprisingly good in the matchup.
Yeah.
It's actually probably his best neutral button, now that I think of it. If Q got you normal draw, it would be hands down the best card in the matchup, but it doesn't.
Well, it does. It's called shenanigans.
Well, yeah, you can't count that when his normals also give him shenanigans.
But yeah, you're right though, because once you've established, and this is all part of your conditioning playstyle, that the only way that Q is going to work is if you're playing those 9 pokes in neutral, because you have to get Troc to, for one, just start to play 4 and 5 to stop you from running down his throat, and to tell you, hey Zane, you're not allowed to just play 9 pokes when I'm not knocked down. That's not cool. So Queen being conveniently 4.0 speed simultaneously covers King, any throw, and the normal poke option. So Troc has to just block it. You're right. It's a very good button because he's just got to block, and anything that's going to beat Queen is going to beat anything else you're going to do.
Yep.
Eagle Totem, JQ, they all beat the same stuff.
Yeah. So there's a lot of decision making that goes into that, and obviously Zane has to play the matchup super differently than he usually does. Because you really don't get to hit Troc with a knockdown meaty combo very often. You're mostly hurting him.
You gotta have quite the life lead.
Yeah. Actually, one thing I wanted to point out now that I remember, there was a moment where I hit a poke in neutral. I think it was a 3 or something. And I did 3 10 throw into a milled 6. I deliberately chose not to J from my hand in that.
Well, J nerfs you.
Yes, exactly.
It makes you weaker. It's the weirdest thing.
Yeah, that's why I hate that interaction.
That's what makes the fight worse. Is that it literally being in the advantage state gives Troc better buttons, and that's the weirdest.
It's so backwards.
Because for those listening, what happens is when the opponent's knocked down, Zane's normal attacks become 1.0 no matter what rank they are. This is usually an advantage except for against Rook and Troc, where their kings will grab normal attacks that are 5.0 or faster. So in those situations, Razik Zane does not even have a 9 poke if he wants to contest the king, and it becomes a bad card, whereas normally it's his favorite card. And so the queen being a face card, even though it's 4.0 speed, it will beat the king just because that's the property of how it works. So what he's saying is that he decided not to get the knockdown so that he could counterplay kings with normal attacks, whereas he wouldn't be able to if he got the knockdown. And he only lost 3 damage. So.
And also importantly, it kept the J in my hand, which allowed me to use it to counterplay the kings later.
Yep. Exactly.
I'm pretty sure the J I saved is the one that undercut his slow J.
Probably the little MVP Anarch Crusher that closed out the set for you.
Yeah. Dude, Anarch Crusher comes up so huge to me.
You got to go back and see what suit it was so you can give that guy a kiss next time you see him.
Yeah, I'll have to gold that one if it was one that isn't gold already.
The one's that way, yeah. He earned his wings.
Give him the reward bling.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. You only hang a medal on him when he does something good. Yeah, that's a huge win though. Congrats on getting one step closer to the Yomi Bowl yet again.
Yep. 2 more sets.
2 more sets, and you'll be the first player in only 3 seasons to be a 2-time champion.
I really want it. I'm so thirsty for it.
Oh yeah.
Early in IYL, I wasn't super thirsty for it, but
the closer you get, yeah.
Yeah. Once I was 2-2, after losing to Crystal Wings in week 5 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I had a real moment of self-reflection where I was just okay, we're gonna pull up our fucking pants, we're gonna stop losing sets, and we're just gonna do this thing. And then I literally haven't lost a set since then.
Oh, you went like 9-2 and.
Yes. I went from 2-2 to 9-2, and then have beaten both Ball and Jenga in very, very, very stressful sets.
Yeah.
God, the set against Ball. Oh man. I mean, we talked about this already, but
he took me out too. Yeah.
Yeah. That one was fucking hard.
Yeah, man. There's one thing this is exclusive thing. I talked about this with Mad King over the weekend, but I might be a Lum player pretty soon.
Really?
Because and the reason why is because I think, with the exception of maybe like Deluxe and Intillerman and Dietz, was I actually, I don't watch Dietz enough. I know he's like one of the more successful Lums right now. But I don't see Lums play enough of the ace range that I like. I think is strongest.
You mean me playing Pandemonium?
Actually playing Pandemonium, actually using the aces before you go into Poker Flourish mix-ups. I don't think I see it as much as I would like to. And I think that there are far too many Lums out there that are just turtling and just grabbing aces, throwing them in the trash, and then doing like 14 damage with a 10.
Yeah.
And it's getting really freaking old seeing that. And I want to teach people that, hey guys, no, you get aces, you do crazy things like 10 throw,
I can tell you with certainty that Dietz is that guy.
Dietz is that guy. That's why he's winning.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why he's winning. That's why his Lum runs over people, because, god damn it, it's 21 damage for a 1.8 attack, and you get free damage when the dodge works, and then after the fact, you just throw a 10 away, and you get more damage, and it's just so easy.
Yeah.
And maybe I just don't see it enough, and it's making me want to just be the guy to be like, look guys, I don't even play this character, and I know this is how he's supposed to be played.
Yeah, definitely keep an eye on Dietz for that, because he's the one doing it.
Yep. Well, good. We'll get him into Panda next time after I lose out, and he can take my spot. We'll see some top tier Lum play.
Is it mathematically possible for you to not get eliminated at this point? Do you know?
I think so. All I need to win. I gotta beat.
It's the bottom 5 that get dropped, right?
Maybe I gotta beat Clanatoy, Frarolo, and Riker. This is bad. This is really bad.
That's gonna be tough.
Yeah, it's pretty not okay.
Yeah, 6 losses. You're on the bubble pretty bad there, but.
True. Mad King is at 3-4 with 5 games to go. Like, I have the advantage of having most of my games played. Clanatoy has opportunity for massive swing in either direction. Beating him is going to be important because he's one of the lower tier guys.
Yeah.
Fra Rolla, same thing. I have to beat Clan and Fra more so because they're just down there with me.
Yeah.
I can't have them jumping over me. Hartley's at a 3-5 and has some tough matches coming up, I believe.
Red XT is the ultimate swing position at the moment, as he is 3-3 with 6 matches left.
Yeah, Hartley's got to play Deluxe, Red XT1, Jengajam, Clanatoy. So that could be whatever. So it's pretty swingy. There's a good chance I make it out as long as I can pull some wins off against some players. But I really got to get into playing and practicing and doing better because it's proving a point here. For those who are interested in Yomi's competitive scene and kind of seeing what's going on with all of our players, it's getting to the point where in order to win, you have to be really good. If you had any reservations about whether or not this is a true competitive game, it all just looks like rock paper scissors on the surface and it looks super random and whatnot. I'll tell you right now, if that were the case, I wouldn't be doing so poorly because everyone around me is working a lot harder than I am, and they're reaping the benefits of that.
And it's not a coincidence that the same people in the top 5 to Panda right now are the same ones who are in the top 8 of every tournament.
Exactly. So, I mean, you
Deluxe
can play
Riker,
well for a while.
Deluxe Riker, Jengajam, Raz, 5-ek, yeah.
They're all about 5-ek. 5-ek wins. 5-ek wins a lot. Playing the Setsuki style that seems theoretically weaker than some other stuff that we come up with. He still has one of the highest win rates to character. He's doing really, really good.
Yeah.
I know you don't like to say that. I know you don't like that being a truth plus reality.
Yeah, it's infuriating, honestly. Like, it is literally infuriating, because I think Jushichi is like 5 times better at the character and understanding of how to play it, but is getting worse results.
Yeah, where's Ju's results?
That's why it's so infuriating, is because he's playing literally brain-dead Dumpsuki, and it is winning.
Hey, counter it. Where's the counterplay? Play to win, man.
What is the counterplay to drawing the 4th Q, Leontes?
I don't know. I lost the same way. I lost to 4th Q.
Yeah. How many people has he beaten by drawing the 4th Q?
He bags them a lot. I mean, he plays like 6-7 Qs a game sometimes. I mean, it's just... That's the character. Dodge. I know. It's Sets, man. Sets has the most oppressive range in the game.
I am just glad that CPAT dittoed him and exposed him in the Emperor Finals. That was incredibly cathartic from the outside.
Yeah. I've hung out with Favik a few times. He's a fantastic player. He's a really great guy. He's really cool to hang out with. A native California player who's gone to a couple of the events, and he's done pretty well in the real life events that we've done, which include players like Clan Natoy, LK404, Radix T1, myself, Merciful Fate, Crystal Wings. So you
guys have a super stacked region.
I know, we're like that, Chinatown fair where, like, if we were all banded together and played a lot, like, no one would touch us in Marvel kind of thing. If we just really, like, got our stuff together and shared some pasta recipes with one another, we'd probably do real good.
I think, like, the closest you could come to assembling another region that could even remotely compete with
the Ohio squad.
Yeah, is the Ohio squad, or if I moved to Toronto and then just, like, myself, Hartley, Pickles, and Mystic Juicer got together all the damn time.
Yeah, and then Matt King's from Michigan, so I'm not sure how close. That's real close, yeah?
Yeah, that's
Toronto and Detroit are like, border cities, right? So
yeah, that flight's like 50 minutes. I did that one to get to Big House a couple weekends ago.
Yeah, I mean, you throw Matt King in the mix, and then if Bob comes back to the States, he's like in the same area, right? So
yeah. Oh, speaking of that tournament, did you hear I took a game off the best player in the world in Smash 4?
I did not. You went to which one? Where did you go to?
Big House 5 in Dearborn, Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah, I played Zero, who is the current undisputed best player in Smash 4. I had to play him in Phase 2 pools, round 1, which is top 128.
Okay, that sucks.
I won game 1 in a matchup that some people profess is like 8-2 against me.
Like, did you Robin Diddy, or what was it?
It was Robin Sheik.
Robin Sheik, okay.
Yeah, like, lots of people profess that matchup is, like, unwinnable for Robin, and me and Daff, who is the Florida Robin, have been saying, like, no, this shit is really, really close to even.
Yeah, well, how many good Robins are there? Like,
it's me and Daff.
Robin, yeah, it's such a complex character that has to keep track of all these, like, different mental aspects of what you have left in your deck, so to speak. I mean,
yeah, and
yeah,
I took game 1. And then, like, there was this gigantic crowd around me, because we weren't on stream, we were just on a side setup.
You're just in pools, yeah.
And there was, like, 50 people, probably, watching the match.
Uh-huh.
God, it was super hype. The only thing I wish is that, like, I hadn't gotten fucking mopped up by his Diddy in game 2 and 3.
Okay, so Diddy did come out.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
He switched to Diddy, and I was not nearly as comfortable in that matchup, and he just kind of ran me over.
And then he's the best Diddy, so.
Yeah, and I was just like, fuck.
Yeah, whatever. Hey, you did what people said couldn't be done.
Yeah, and I went out of my way to get a bunch of Diddy matchup experience from one of the really good ones from the Midwest that was at the tournament afterwards.
Yeah.
So I'll be more prepared for next time, but yeah, I made him. The popular theory is that the fact that I tilted him by winning game 1 significantly contributed to the fact that he lost a set to Seagull Joe's Sonic 02 immediately after that.
So you indirectly killed him.
Yeah.
You set the bomb and then it went off in a later set, which was more important.
Basically. He did end up winning the whole tournament from loser's bracket on Sunday. Like after mentally recovering, but it's
that makes your win even better.
Yeah,
that's like cool, right? That's good.
Yeah, he dropped like 7 games in the whole tournament, and one of them was to me.
That's quite the accomplishment.
Yeah,
in a matchup that everyone thinks is like, oh yeah, you don't do that.
Yeah. There was one of the best players in Alberta. Put up a tier list on Twitter and had Robin like second tier from the bottom, like bottom 10, something like that. And I was like, I think you have Robin way too low. I would like to play you. And he was like, I can't put a character any higher than that when they lose to Sheik 9-1.
Oh wow.
Yeah, which is obviously incorrect. And then I slapped him around 10-6 in the matchup.
Yeah.
And he was still just like, it's still like 7-3. This is just Wi-Fi. It's like, yeah, okay. Wi-Fi doesn't turn a 9-1 into a 6-4 in my favor.
Right. It's one of those things too, where like you take a complex character and like you put that on the tier list so that like newbies don't even try. Because if I played Robin against like a Sheik, it probably would be, you know.
Oh yeah, like
probably would be 8-2 because I just don't have the intricacies down. And that's how fighting game tier lists are. They don't take into account the player's skill. If you know, there's always the until an argument. It's like, Raz, why don't you just play Diddy and then you would just win everything? If you're so good you can win with Robin, then why do you do that? And it's like, I don't know, man. It's fighting games. This what happens.
Well, I have never found a character that clicks with me more than Robin does. Like, in anything.
Oh, wow.
Except maybe Zane. Zane is the other contender.
But if you weren't winning so much with Zane, maybe you wouldn't say that about Zane. Maybe you'd say Robin.
Yeah, but, like, from the instant that I saw Robin's reveal trailer, I was like...
Oh, yeah, Awakening was so awesome.
No, I don't mean Awakening. I mean, like, the Smash announcement.
That's what I mean, though.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
I just like the character, period, just because I like Fire Emblem Awakening a lot.
Yeah, as soon as I saw Robin's reveal trailer, I was just, I was like, mained! Instantly!
Yeah.
Like, even though I played Marth in Brawl and really, really enjoyed him.
Yeah.
And the game came out, and like I had imported a Japanese copy, and was in there on like day -14, testing shit and working on like research guides and everything for the Robin boards. And like I've basically built the Robin community myself. And like it's just a ridiculously cool feeling to know that I have basically invented the character's metagame and am currently at the top of it.
Yeah, and then in beating Zero, like, at all.
Yeah. And
you're like, look, guys, I really am the guy. So don't think I'm just a forum guy who did a bunch of stuff that no one's done because no one plays this character. I'm not that guy. I'm the guy.
Yeah, exactly. And
and now you have your validation. Because until that point, maybe you were just that guy who just made a bunch of posts.
Yeah, like I had a couple decent wins, like against some mid-level players, mid-high level players. And then it was just kind of like, as soon as I got that win, it was just like, okay, now I can legitimately just hold this up and be like, no, fuck you.
Yeah. If anybody has to say anything, you just link them a video.
Yeah. Like, I've got it on YouTube.
When they say another thing, you just link them a video. And just keep doing that.
Yep.
Until you can beat Zero with this character, don't try to tell me what's right and wrong about Robin.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. I saw your post in the thread about with Mad King playing against Snake Eyes, which is pretty sweet.
Yes.
But I did not know. I mean, I'm still kind of new to going to big FGC events, and I don't play Smash. And so I had no idea what Genesis is. But if there's a convention in San Jose, bro, I mean, come on. If any opportunity for me to go home is, I'll be there.
Yeah, if I don't see you at Genesis, it will be simply not okay.
Yeah, I can go there. I can stay at people's houses. I don't even gotta pay like hotel. It's like easy. It's easy sauce right there.
Man, I could probably get you in with the Sugoi room and just chill with us. Actually.
Yeah, teach me some stuff about NES. That's all I've always played NES ever since N64, but I never played the game at like a real competitive level. I'm the kind of person who if any like scrub says, "Oh, I play Smash Brothers, do you?" And I'll say, "Yeah, kind of. Like, I don't really like the game that much, but sure, I'll come hang out." And then I just trash everybody, and I'm like, "God damn it! Like, what? Like, come on! You say you play this game, like, please, come on, guys."
Yeah.
Like,
Ness is
literally,
a good character.
I don't own a GameCube controller, and I'll come to people's houses and do well. So if I were to hang out with some Sugoi Elite, then maybe I could actually learn some stuff about Smash and maybe
Sugoi Elite is just me, basically. Like, the other Sugoi members are primarily anime fighters. Like,
okay.
Dietz,
some Exard and some Unio guys.
Yeah, Dietz and Zankoku, who's the one who owns it, and Minato and Mansu are all like Guilty Gear players, primarily. Guilty Gear
okay. Minato sounds like he plays Smash.
No, actually.
It just sounds like a guy. Your name's Minato. You play Shoulder.
No, not Minato. Minato.
Not Minato. Minato. Okay.
Like Minato, as in like the Persona protagonist.
Okay, so I'm way off base with that.
Yeah. Yeah, those guys all play anime fighters and stuff. I'm the primary Smash one.
Gotcha.
But yeah, Tony and Dietz also play Yomi, of course. Tony doesn't play it online. I don't know why he doesn't, but haven't been able to actually get him to play it online. And of course, Dietz plays it all the damn time. Dietz probably won't be at Genesis though, if I had to guess. Unfortunately.
Okay.
Likely in terms of Yomi people that will be there, it would be me, Riker will be there, and Tony, probably.
Cool. And it's a one-day event?
Oh no, it's 3 days. Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
15, 16, 17, or 13, 14, 15?
Let me double check the date.
Let's check this out.
I registered for it, but I haven't actually booked my flight or anything yet.
15, 16, 17.
Yeah, there you
Looks
go.
like.
Yep, January 15th to 17th.
Cool. And then in terms of scale, like, how big is Genesis?
Is
this a thing that everyone goes to? Like, is this where you're going to see, like, Zero and Armada?
This will be the national this year.
Okay.
Like, there's already 1,078 attendees pre-registered, and it's not till January.
Good lord.
Like, okay, basically, in years past, the two big tournaments, well, there's basically 3 major tournament series that dominated the Smash world. They are Big House, which is Midwest, and is, like, gigantic Melee one that has only continued to get bigger.
Then probably Apex is the other one I've heard of a lot.
Yes, Apex is the other one, which is East Coast. And was both Brawl and Melee, and last year it was Smash 4. And Genesis is the other one. Genesis is the West Coast National. But Genesis was not hosted as many years. Like, this is only the 3rd one. And they took a couple of years off, basically, between Genesis 2 and Genesis 3. Don't remember exactly when Genesis 2 was, actually. Genesis 2... Yeah, the Genesis 2 was in 2011, so this tournament...
Oh wow,
series
so this is a big deal. This is like the comeback.
Yeah. Essentially, there was this huge political scandal with Apex last year, where the tournament organizer and, like, owner of the Apex brand, Alex Strife, was accused of doing some very unsavory things involving underage women.
Oh, good. Nothing to do with, like, bracket manipulation, just actual scumbag stuff.
Yes. There was... I mean, strictly speaking, he didn't actually do anything, but there was a lot of creepy stuff said to a lot of women. And it was, like, it marred the reputation of the tournament significantly. And then... On top of that, the last Apex had significant problems when it actually, like, ran. Brackets were late, and there were significant problems with the venue. A snowstorm caused the roof to collapse and made the venue unusable. And
like, the entire universe does not want Smash to happen, and the fans just make sure that it does, right? It's like kind of the the truth of the poor community as the years go by.
Yeah, that tournament was pulled out of the fire by Twitch, actually. Twitch got them a venue nearby to replace the hotel and conclude the tournament within like 24 hours of the roof going down. And they managed to cram it all in and get it done. Which was unbelievably astounding, but unfortunately looks really bad for Apex, so there's probably not going to be an Apex this year. Because Apex is normally hosted in January, and then Genesis was like, hey, we're in January. So Apex is probably just not going to happen.
Yeah, and everyone's just going to go to that and stuff.
Yeah, so this is the big one. So everybody will be there. Tons of international players. Like looking at the melee, players that are already registered. Mewtwo King and Hungry Box are both already registered.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got a lot of the other top tier players like Westballs, PPU, Silent Wolf, S2J, Wizrobe, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, oh wow, what? Can you do something for me?
What's up?
Can you go to this link and see if it's not a coincidence that my name shows up in the listed attendees for Wii U singles?
like you didn't know you were you, and people think you're a thing? Let's see.
Like, I'm assuming this is listed by, like, players that have done shit, because, like,
Well, I mean, you were on the Evo Catherine stream, so, I mean... That was the most random thing, you have no idea. Like, I was just watching, and I just saw, like, oh, what the hell? Somebody said Catherine's on this other channel, and I check it out, and, like, I watched 2 matches, and then I was like, oh, Razik. There's only one friggin' Razik. It's gotta be you.
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah.
I just decided to enter it because it was there, and, like, I know Dacid Bro, and he was the one running the tournament, and it was free, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, let's play some Catherine, and it was a ton of fun. Yeah, scroll down to attendees and click on the Wii U singles heading.
Yep. Let's see, how far down are you on this list?
Oh, don't click view all. Like it should show in the.
No, I know.
Yeah, like I should be like the 8th one there. Unless it's just showing it to me because I am on my account. That's possible.
Right. Let's see. Let's do that, because I am not logged in. I see Hungry Box, Pew Pew, Wizrobe, Moon, Bladewise, Ladondis, Esam. Where are you in this?
Like, I would be right after Esam.
I see AKA Red.
Okay, yeah, so it's different then.
Then Primus.
I see myself, then D-Disciple, then Fanny Flogger, then Zaki.
I don't see that. So let's see. I'm gonna.
Okay. It must be, looking at it now. The other people have their meleeed on me ranks under them.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like the ranking system. And then
I don't see that. I just see like Twitter and Twitch links.
Okay, so possibly not as big a deal as I thought then. But either way.
Yeah, I mean you're still. I searched for you and I found you, but
yeah. Yeah, I'm stupid hyped for that, because I am feeling like I'm going to be able to take some big names at that. Like taking a game off 0, huge confidence boost.
Oh yeah.
We have of course.
I see you on actual page 4 between Ori from Michigan and Boba Tapioca from NorCal.
Gotcha. Yeah, it
And you're on the same page as Abadango, so hey.
We have, of course, gotten super off track from this interview, but who cares?
Oh well, we're talking about Razik's successes in tournaments and fighting games, and how Yomi's a fighting game too. And
yep. Yes, it is.
How,
dude, Yomi has made me so much better at other games.
Oh, dude, Yomi makes you better at every game. Like, you just learn to... It's more so like the Serlin thought process kind of invades you and tells you things like, when you lose in other games, just look at why. And because Yomi slows it down to the point where you can really see where you went wrong and it crushes your soul, you want to make sure that doesn't happen to you in other situations that are maybe higher stakes.
Yeah.
And so the lessons you learn playing this game about, like, knowing what the opponent will do and doing the appropriate counter thing, even if it seems ridiculous,
that's
even if it
the
seems
biggest
preposterous
thing.
and a thing that no one would do, that's exactly when you need to do it. And Yomi's a game that it'll make you better at StarCraft, it'll make you better at Smash Brothers, it'll make you better at Counter-Strike. Every little thing that you can think of in terms of competitive games, the lessons that are in this one translate to everything else.
Yeah.
Probably in a more significant way than you can say going the other direction. Like, being good at Smash Brothers isn't going to make you better at Counter-Strike or Yomi, but I think being good at Yomi makes you better at a lot of things.
I agree. I have gotten so much out of conditioning, like just
Yes.
in being able to condition people. It's been almost a, what's the word I'm looking for? It's been a positive feedback loop, so to speak. Like, it improves in both games and they feed into each other.
Right.
Because, like, I'll pick up conditioning things in one that I can apply to the other and then translate it. Things like that.
Yeah, totally.
And, like, even game state stuff, like understanding the types of actions I need to take when I'm at a disadvantage and they know I'm at a disadvantage, and then you do the crazy thing.
Right. And because the pace of Yomi allows you to pause in the middle of a competitive situation, whereas in, like, fighting games, like, you better hope that you're just ready.
Yeah.
Like in Smash, you just gotta be. You have 38 seconds to do the right thing, and
What do you mean 38 seconds?
I mean that could be all you need to, like, set, like, to determine, like, an entire set could be like a 4-second, like, string of events, right?
I was gonna say that's more like it.
I mean, over the course of the day, you know, like,
yeah.
There's a very small amount of time where you just need to be ready, and if you weren't prepared, then that's when you lose, and you look back and you're like, oh yeah, I screwed up, I didn't train enough, I didn't do this. And you can either be salty about it or you can improve on it.
Yeah.
But what Yomi does is it says, okay, bro, you can sit and be stressed out for a full hour and a half.
Yep.
Playing against the same person.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
definitely a big thing. Like, Yomi has built up my mental endurance a lot. Just in terms of being able to focus on something for a really long period of time. Because, like, playing that hour and a half set with Ball just fried me.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Game 7, every game down to the wire. Like, that, you can't... I say that can't better prepare you for things than that, but...
Yeah.
I was forged in similarly long sets in Brawl, too. Because, the other best player in my region besides me played Wario, and I played Marth.
Okay.
And it would not be uncommon in a tournament for us to play 10 games and a total of like an hour in a grand
fighting
final
game
set.
time, an hour is so long.
Yeah, that's like 10 6-minute games, basically.
Yeah.
There was one tournament where we played in winners finals and in grand finals where we played 15 full games in one tournament.
Jeez.
Which was ridiculous. He and I have played each other in, like, I think the full number is like 70 sets between both Brawl and Smash 4.
In competitive, like, sets.
Yes,
yeah.
in tournament. Yeah. I play him way too much.
Is that like a result of seeding, I think? Like, in your region, that you guys are always on opposite ends of the bracket and you just run into each other at some point?
We are the two best players. And it is rare for somebody to beat one of the two of us. So even if it wasn't seeded, we basically would always end up fighting each other anyway. But
makes sense.
We do see.
And then you'd put the one guy in losers, and they'd be out of your way for a while, and then you'd meet in the finals.
Yeah, that's basically how it would turn out. We do seeding in our tournaments, like, based on the power rankings, which are done using Microsoft's True Skill system.
Okay.
So, like, it's seeded at this point anyway, but yeah. I could continue to go on and on.
Yeah.
One last thing I want to toot my own horn about is the fact that I've basically invented the metas for two characters, like Zane and Robin. I'm basically the meta for both of those characters, and that feels really
awesome.
fucking cool.
Oh yeah, it's cool to see people blocking, and like when people will just joke that, like, hey, I don't see Rezik in this room, you know.
Man, it broke my heart when I was watching Carandio's Zane and he was just mashing throws against Enemies Hazard. And I was just like, no! How do you not know the quote? Walk today, win tomorrow.
Yeah.
Raziek 2015, CPAT 2015.
Yeah, we need t-shirts, man.
Yeah. Dude, I would totally wear a t-shirt with that on it.
But yeah, hopefully I will see you in January then. If I don't see you then, which is unlikely, I think if I have a chance to go to San Jose for any real excuse, I'll probably be there. Because I can just make massive trips out of that. I can be gone for like a whole week and like see everybody, and it's just always good.
Yeah.
I do definitely plan to see you at EVO come next July in Las Vegas, because I kind of need to do those things. And around that time, I think, is when we might have a publicly playable build of Fantasy Strike ready for the masses. So
that'll be pretty hype, actually.
Being at EVO and being able to maybe, I don't know if I'll be able to present at EVO. The goal is to present maybe next time at SoCal Regionals, which is one of the big reasons I went there last weekend, was to kind of network that in. But yeah, so I should be meeting you in person sometime in the near future. But I don't know, a big Smash event sounds cool.
I'm looking forward to it.
And yeah, I can. Yeah, definitely.
Now I have to ask myself this curious question: how tall are you?
About 6 foot. Why?
Okay, we're about the same height.
Yeah, there's actually a video. If you watch the grand finals of Bonchan and Kazunoko and Ultra Street Fighter 4 from last weekend, you can see me in the second row, next to Mad King, watching the finals behind Bonchan's head.
Fair enough.
And then when he wins, we both stand up and start like cheering for him. And
yeah, I've had a couple funny moments where like people that I pictured taller online were just not.
Oh yeah, no, I'm 6 foot.
Yeah.
So. And hopefully my hair will grow back out by then, because I have short hair right now and I hate it. And we'll see how that goes.
It was particularly funny one of the first times that I met Riker, because he's like 5'9", 5'8.5" maybe.
Okay.
And we were playing IRL Mafia, and he tried to stare me up, which just did not work. But
I'll have to play some. I never actually played Mafia in a social setting at all.
It's so much fun.
Yeah.
Have you ever played Forum Mafia?
No, I've not, and I know you guys do that pretty frequently.
Yeah, it's a good time. There's actually I think Malthug's actually playing in one that we're doing off-site.
Okay.
But I think that game is already filled.
Yeah, no, I'm probably not strategically on the level. I just play Resistance a lot. So, as far as like social deduction games, I never even played Werewolf, so.
Yeah. Let me check the player list and see if he is in that, because I know Drew and Dietz were talking about trying to rope him in for that.
Yeah.
It's a Blaze Blue themed Mafia, and it's the sequel to one that we did last year, which was super hype. Let's see. Yes, Malthug is in this one. This will be good. Yeah. Riker and I enjoyed playing Mafia on Fantasy Strike to a degree, but your site meta frustrates us.
Oh, okay.
Like, some people get away with way more than they should in your site meta because of meta. Like, we were trying to pressure one player who was clearly scum, and people were just letting her coast. Because it's like she always coasts, and it's just like, ugh.
I get you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway,
man.
Enough ranting and rambling. This has been a fantastic hour and 45-minute conversation about goddamn near everything under the sun.
Yeah, well, it's always good to de-stress after a ridiculous set against Jengajam, so.
Yeah.
Jengajam's, scary.
Especially since that helped me kill a little bit of time I was going to kill anyway, because I took like a 2-hour nap before playing Jengajam. Because like, I got like 5 hours of sleep last night, worked all day, so I didn't want to play him on no sleep, so I just took a nap.
Gotcha.
But
alright, man, well, if all things go well, I will see you in January, and obviously I'll see you online before that.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully. So congratulations on making it to the West Realm Grand Final again.
Thank you. Hopefully
for the third time.
Hopefully you'll see me in the Yomi Bowl.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is the third time I've been in finals every time in the division.
In the division, yeah, in the West Realm.
Yeah.
Flagstone. I think of Flagstone, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember what the original one was. It was Dreadlands and...
Dreadlands and Flagstone.
Yeah, I was in Dreadlands in the first one. Pretty sure.
Yep.
Yeah, because I played Malthug in Dreadlands Finals. That's what it was. That's true, yeah. That actually, I think, was the first video I uploaded on my the first Yomi video that I uploaded on my account.
Yeah, that's right. You had to have been in the opposite division because I played against Mercy in my own, and he's the one who went on to the to the grand final. So yeah.
Yep. At any rate,
all right,
man. Have a good night, sir. It has been a pleasure.
Yeah, you too. All right, get ready for CPAT.
Yeah, I'm gonna be hard to prepare, but we'll do it.
All right, man. Have a good night.
You too.